so worked out now that you are here. And I'm so proud that I wipe my tears. tragedies and set our spirits free. Together we can bring back home the ones who've lost and give them love, and give them love. They can try to bring us down, but we know we're much too proud to lose faith. We have what it takes. 'Cause we are a new generation. 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 You can be anything you wish to be. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Because in this world there are no limitations. We can make our names live on through time and space. They can try to bring us down, but we know we're much too proud to lose faith. We have what it takes. 'Cause we are a new generation. We are a new generation. A new generation.
yet. Scream's able to pick up a second one, but Flamey, oh, Flamey's so smart. Flamey's got one, he can't land the other, now he does. Flamey, what a play! And it's Scream on a fast rotate that's able to at least get one, now two, but bomb's already planted, and Scream again, he's gonna get another. It's just him left though, because Seized has found existence, but we know Scream can do this. That's 4 headshots, and he's in the position. There's nothing they can do. What a round from Scream.
4 kills, all sensational headshots there.
Flash goes through, Smoke's in the middle, they'll push either side, and they take down Shocks already. Smiths is in the archway, they need to know this position is here. RPK is cleverly going to play from the graveyard, but will it be his own deathbed as he waits, pushed from either side? It's not at all to be, as he picks up everyone, including the last shot on Steel.
Now they know for a fact, he hits the first shot, he could be able to get this, he's got himself 4K, doesn't get the ace, he got the ace clutch, Shazam,
look at him,
done
look
it,
at him.
Ace clutch for Shazam.
Opted to create that raid boss. But look, Stacks and Taz getting so aggressive, and there's a third here as well, Taz with 3 headshots. AZ also finding a second, this one with the Deagle, and that's going to allow him to pick up that extra money for his team. They managed to get the bomb down here. I thought, no way would that be possible. And AZ still in it to win it. Finding cracks, pulls out the one they got to Bialy. That leaves Taz moving in very quietly. He's got the time to work, but AZ's too fast. That's the ace for AZ.
And it's all down to RPK. He's been a hero so many times in this half, but he's going to have to be brilliant in this situation. Knows where both players are. He saw the one go to Emo. Bolt's locked in the corner. He understands it's a crossfire. He understands it brilliantly, and there it is! RPK!
All right, folks, it is time for match 1, our first semifinal. Titan taking on Virtus.Pro. Once again, I am Sir Scoots, joined by Thorin and Richard Lewis. Gentlemen, let's get right into it. Virtus.Pro, defending champions of CEVO Season 7, make it to the quarterfinals of the major. Titan, quite the opposite at the majors, did not get out of groups. Initial thoughts before we get into maps, before we get into matchups.
I mean, world rankings, obviously, there's a big difference between the two. Virtus.Pro is still considered one of the elite teams, a favorite for every tournament they enter. It's been a long time since Titan were considered a favorite. Even making top 4 here is actually pretty good when you look at the field. They've done a decent job so far. You look at the form coming into the tournament, yeah, VP struggled a little, but they were never really in danger of losing those series. Titan has really struggled back and forwards, and somehow they've scraped their way into this position. So at the moment, it's still a massive uphill challenge facing the Titan guys.
And speaking of Richard, speaking of Titan, Richard, you want to walk us through their lineup?
Certainly. So on the left, you can see obviously we've got Scream, the man that in the past has been known as the human aimbot, somebody who has this very easy on the eye style, in the sense that he only likes to go for those headshots and that tap aim. Not always the most effective, but when it works, it's wonderful to watch. And there's a lot of extra weight put on those broad shoulders today as he goes up against Virtus.Pro. Then you've got Smith, somebody who is the kind of go-to AWPer on the team. Tellingly, you will notice that his best weapon has been the AK-47. That might be something worrying there. Shocks has had to pick up the AWP lately, but Smith is the kind of a weak link in the chain, but he played very, very well yesterday. That's got to be said. Shock sat in the middle. Yes, he is the in-game leader. Yes, I've already said this is crazy. I just can't get my head around why they would do this. But he is one of the greatest players to have ever played the game. No doubt about it. Incredibly talented. I just think he's shackling his natural talents by taking on all this extra responsibility in the team. Then you've got the former in-game leader next to him on the right, Existence, a legendary playbook manager. I've always said his reinvention from being a flamboyant AWPer to one of the greatest brains in Counter-Strike history is one of the most incredible transformations in the history of any esport. However, now that he's been relieved of in-game leading duties, what's he doing in terms of the scoreboard? Turns out he did have his moments yesterday, but still generally not a great deal. And then the last player on the right there, it is the legendary Counter-Strike Source rifler, somebody who was one of the most decorated players in the game, certainly the best rifler in the history of the game, and who won the most MVPs. Never really replicated that success in CSGO, although he was a very good player right at the start. Now he went off in a big way yesterday to get Titan here, and he did show signs of that actually at the major as well. If he can get back into that kind of Counter-Strike Source form, Titan are always going to be in with a chance for game, because he used to carry Berry Games, the best team in Source history.
All right, thank you very much. And on the other side of the coin, we're going to bring up the Virtus.Pro graphic, but I just noticed some. What is this?
What do you mean? I'll save that for later.
Are you going to save it for later? Well, why don't you walk us through Virtus.Pro again? You talk about historical stuff with Titan. There's some history here that goes back decade plus with some of these guys.
I mean, you talk about the two guys, so the guy in the middle, Neo, was one of the best players ever in 1.6, and he's a guy where it's not like he was just in one particular period he had his peak. Really, once he got on the world scene around 2004, it wasn't long before he was considered the best player, and then we're talking about the next half a decade. He's just in that position where he's constantly a top 5 player, MVP awards, very, very consistent player, great all-round player. Then the guy to his right, so second from the right overall, Taz, which is always his partner in crime. Initially, interesting story is that when they made the team that became the really good one for them, that what had made the team good is that Neo and Taz, from what I remember, were the ones I think were always against each other, and they wanted to beat each other. And then when they sort of combined forces for the super team, they managed to transcend the domestic differences there and become a great international team. So Taz, not also like Neo, not really known as a star player in this game. It's more making up the numbers in terms of like filling in the gaps for the other younger, more inexperienced stars, knowing what you need to do in a team to be a successful unit. Very good on train, which you'll always see played for Virtus.Pro season unless it's banned. So keep your eye out there. That is one map where he will show some particular spark. To his right is Snacks, the best player in this modern era of the team. We thought Pasha was supposed to take the reins over as the best player from Neo, but actually in CSGO it's really been about Snacks. He's in some ways, not to the same degree, the Neo of CSGO. Like, he's a very well-rounded player, very good intuitive sense for the game, and the team's based around how he plays, and he has been playing well here. Then we go all the way to the left is Pasha, very flamboyant character, obviously loved for his streaming antics, but he showed us on day 2, very good game against Conquest to ensure that they could 2-0 that series. He's obviously an aggressive rifler. He's someone very confident in his abilities. I mean, he actually thinks if he plays someone like Olafans, he thinks he should win the 1v1. So, very interesting character, certainly. To his right, Bialy, I think the one player who didn't really show up for me yesterday. He should be this aggressive, powerful rifle entry guy where, I mean, for a start off, it says there, M4A4 was his best weapon. In an ideal world, Bialy's best weapon should be the AK. That's when he's at his best. So that kind of shows he's had his difficulties here overall, because I think when Bialy's on fire, that's when I very rarely see Virtus.Pro lose a game. That's when you add him in, Snacks is always going to be there. Then you take your pick, give you Pasha or Neo, suddenly you've got this force, this band of people who are just going to rampage over you.
All right, and again, like you bring up the historical lineup, and I know when we always talk about old school CS, we were talking about the other night, like you start talking about what was the greatest match you ever saw, what was one of the greatest matches, and like the versions of that core lineup end up being, like, you know, you can trigger Karn instantly by going, hey, I was China that one year, right?
Yeah.
He just loses his mind.
Yeah.
So again, the pedigree is again, much like the other greats that have moved forward, like they're starting to show it in this game.
Well, the thing is, that's what made them great in 1.6. They're a very different lineup there. They're more skill-heavy in CSGO. But one thing that's carried over from both games is they've both been kind of catalysts, the 1.6 and the CSGO lineups, for some of the best matches ever, just because of the style of play. Like in 1.6, they really had to be like hard carried by Neo, but then have a great team play around him. In CSGO, they have an incredible dominating style, but that T-side's got to be hitting. And so when it is, you see these matches against Sniff, these matches against TSM. So anyway, we're into the veto now.
Yep.
The initial part of the veto, not much of a surprise. Dust 2 is always VP's ban. It's also one of the Titans' best maps. On Titans' side of the equation, they don't want to play Mirage. It's famously an extremely good Virtus.Pro map.
Solid ban.
First pick Train here is fairly obvious for Virtus.Pro. It's actually been a decent map for Titan recently, but VP are incredible on that map. Cobble pick for Titan, that's just been what they've been picking throughout the series. It's what they were picking at the Major, that's what they want to play. I think that's dangerous, mind. And then the third map coming to Inferno. Now here's the thing, for both teams, this is kind of like a questionable one, but not so bad, I think, if you're Titan. Bearing in mind, this could have come up as Overpass. That would have been a nightmare. So I actually think Titan have slightly gotten, just from their side of things, a decent map draw. This isn't so bad. But if you're looking at the VP side, they can win all 3 of these maps. They're probably even going to be a favourite on Cobble. I don't really see why you'd say they wouldn't be. So just the maps alone are telling me it should be a 2-0, actually.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I mean, you know, the ban's definitely not a surprise. The picks, not a surprise from Virtus.Pro. You know, Train has been an incredible map for them. Titan picking Cobble, it makes sense. It's the map they feel strongest on. They've had results here. It's statistically one of their strongest maps for this particular lineup. But here's the problem. Virtus.Pro only lose to godlike teams on Cobble. They only lose to Fnatic in the Fnatic era where Fnatic beat everyone on Cobble.
Yeah, and just to catch up on that, to add to you, Titan has played it quite a bit here. They 16-10 Luminosity on it. They then lost that, obviously, and fell down, but then they played Na'Vi on it. They 16-12 them, and then again, when they played Luminosity again, they They lost it 11-16.
Yeah.
So two wins and a loss. Huh?
Luminosity are not even a cobble
No,
team
they
in
lost
the same
to
way
Luminosity,
Virtus
yeah,
Pro are.
Scouts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they lost it on that one.
On the first one, though.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah. So they've lost 2-1 once.
Yeah, so this is what I mean.
Beat
So
down
Luminosity aren't even a great cobble team. They went into that probably thinking, well, we're going to see what happens. And what happened was they were capable of beating Titan on it. Now, obviously, Luminosity, you know, maybe that's a play style they're not used to. Titan might feel more comfortable against Virtus.Pro, but as I said, Virtus.Pro only lose to elite-level teams on cobble. They are always super competitive on this map. That's why I think Duncan's assessment of a 2-0 is on point. That's what I'm feeling right now. I think they've maybe missed the trick. With the VP.
They also actually played this exact matchup on train at the major. This was the match where RPK essentially lost the whole game for them in a 2v2 by killing his teammate, then being in a 1v1, and then dying to that guy. I think it might be Snacks who was there. So that'll definitely be in RPK's mind when he
you
plays
want to
the
talk
game.
about getting triggered?
Yeah, and now we talked about player matchups, and we normally grab the star player or like the superstars, but we went the opposite way with this one. Richard, walk us through these two picks.
Okay, so obviously it's incredibly boring for the people at home when we just keep picking out star players, and it's not just about star players. Counter-Strike is about people who pull their weight. So this is the thought process behind this head-to-head. So on the left, obviously, you've got Bialy, the entry fragger for Virtus.Pro. He's had a very quiet showing out here at this tournament, and I feel he needs to sort of step that up as they get deeper and deeper into it. On the right, you've got Scream. I've talked a lot about him. I'm still not sold about the idea of him being a great player. I would love to see him reinvented for this Titan side as an entry fragger. He's got that one-bullet aim, but he just doesn't seem to have that personality. I think he needs to be nudged more into that role for them to get effective. Because the one problem they had on T-side, especially on Cobble, by the way, which they're going to play, obviously, is their executes are poor and they weren't making those entries. They were struggling on the T-side. So these two people have both very similar jobs in the sense that they've got to be the aggressive guys that can open things up for their team if their teams are going to get some serious T-sided rounds on the board. Very different personalities, though. Bialy is super confident. He will go for the entry frag and lose, and he'll just go again and again and again. And he'll just assume in his mind that something must have gone wrong because he's always expecting to win the aim duels, even when he's in a slump. Meanwhile, Scream doesn't seem to have that level of ego, doesn't seem to have that level of brashness that I think you need if you want to be a truly great competitor and occasionally entry fragger. So I think this is a really interesting matchup here.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between the two is Bialy almost has like a hard-headedness about the way he entries. Like, it's that he doesn't understand that anyone who's on the other side of the aim duel should be able to beat him in the duel. Whereas obviously, yeah, he's a fantastic player, but there's many players who are skilled as Bialy or who on CT side get the better position and they're going to win that duel. So it's good to have that in your entry fragger. You want him to really believe if I go to this spot again and again, I can get the entries, because if your entry fragger gives up, that's when the team's going to be really ruined on T side. Scream instead, I always feel like Scream doesn't even consider the other player. He thinks he's playing against himself. I know how good my aim is. If I can get my shot and I can line it up, I'll hit the shot and I'll win. So very different mentality in that sense. Bialy's going against this particular guy. Scream's trying to play against himself. But I do think Bialy is always a key to the Virtus.Pro mode. That when he's on fire, when he's really got that, Scoots, you ready for this?
Yes.
That aim from Poland.
Look at
Got
that.
from Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, yeah.
See, nothing but love.
When he's got that sick AK going, that's when their T-side's out of control. They're always going to have a very good T-side. That's going to be one of the problems.
Sorry, you've read it wrong. It says stay away from Poland. Sorry, mate.
Okay.
Oh, you ruined
That's a
it.
shame.
You ruined the beautiful
It's
moment.
okay.
It's all right.
Lucky for them. It turned out to be my plan anyway, mate. So,
All right, so
they
let's,
knew after all. It was me after all, Austin. It was me after all.
let's talk a little bit about Pasha.
Yeah, Pasha is a guy where I think you've seen with Pasha, as his form's gone up and down, that's where VP's dropped levels. Like, they were at one point in time contending for the title of best in the world when they won that first major for them. It was the second major overall, Katowice 2014 March. Almost referenced that earlier on with that little band. And then he was the guy where he was the MVP probably at that point in time.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. He really reinvigorated a new era of Virtus.Pro. They won the major. They were right up there with Nip trying to be the best. But he was consistent, but then later on in the years, he dropped a little bit. They just became like a team where it's like, yeah, okay, you can pencil them in for the semi-final, but how will they do there? It'll be tough. Like the right opponent, maybe they could get to a final, but you weren't going to think they will win many events. Coming into this year, his form dropped a little bit again because now his AWPing started to really take a hit. and the team wasn't working that well around him. We heard like rumors of like infighting, and some people felt like, well, we've built the whole team around Pasha, and if he's not playing well, you know, eventually you can't be selfish about that. If you're not playing well, you have to give something up. You have to give something back to the team. They were struggling a little bit. They dropped a little bit more. It was really the Fnatic Envious era. But now they've reinvented him. They've taken him and said, right, you're a rifle-only player now. We're going to give the AWP over to Neo. Don't worry about AWPing. Just play your aggressive rifle style. Let him do what he wants, but only with a rifle. And we've seen, I think that's helped Pasha, it's helped Neo a bit, and it's helped the team in general, because now they've got a bunch of good riflers, and they have the AWP when they need it. They don't need it that often because they are a T-side aggressive entry team, so it's not like they need to set up these crazy picks or win dominant CT sides. So I think they found the right mix for not having to make a roster change. It's very rare you can not make a roster change and get right back to the top of it, which this team's done.
Again, you know, we talked about Neo, and certainly in the old days. Talk about Neo now.
I mean, the thing is, Neo now is very much an entirely different player to me. Now he's a player where one of the key things about him in 1.6, the reason why he was not only the best player in a period and for a couple of years, but for like half a decade or like 6 or 7 years, is because even when he was on top, the one quality he had that almost no other great player had is he never stopped practicing. He would always be putting his practice in. Even if they missed an event, he'd keep his form up, he'd keep playing pogs, he'd play stand-in for people, he'd play people from other countries, he'd watch demos. He's a guy where he always like kept the craft of being the best alive. And that's what has allowed him in CSGO to have a career. Because in CSGO, he had a lot of issues early on in terms of his raw skills. He didn't fit a lot of the aspects of the game that were working before. And he was so brilliant in 1.6 that his style didn't work when he didn't have the fantastic individual skills. But the thing about Neo that you have to understand is he's never stopped working even in CSGO. Even in CSGO, when he's had these slumps, he's not as good. He's watched every demo. He's watched everything. He's the guy where players always tell me, if I watch a Neo demo, I'll learn a new flash, a new smoke, I'll learn a timing on something, and I'll be like, well, I didn't even know that was possible. Even like in-game leaders have told me this. So that means this guy for sure is putting in mad hours to try and get some edge, because he knows, right, I'm not going to have the edge in an aim duel anymore. I'm not the Neo 1.6. But if I have like a trick flash, or if I have a smoke that gets my team an entry into the site, that's how I can help them win the game. So that's where you can see like the passion and the drive that made him #1 before. It's not making him #1 now, but it's making his team potentially a #1 team.
Gotcha. And again, now we see the real poll. I think when that poll first came up, it hadn't been populated yet. It was 80% for Titan, 20% for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, the Polish guys are woke up
now. Yeah, now it's
on.
getting a little bit more even. So with that poll on screen, go ahead and give me your predictions and final thoughts on this matchup.
Oh,
we'll let you go last. You go first for the predictions.
I'm thinking Virtus.Pro will win 2-0 because I think Train should very much be their map. I know that they lost it to Dignitas, but Dignitas showed their own little flair on Train, so I think there's more to that story maybe than we've seen. And it was getting late in the day. This is the first match. Titan is not a team that wants to play Train. They definitely don't want to play it against Virtus.Pro. Virtus.Pro is a very explosive T-side, so I'm expecting a big win on Train. And then on Cobble, I still think of that as a Virtus.Pro map. I don't think of it as a Titan map. I know it's the new era and they're trying to make it one of their best. I've seen some weaknesses there, especially because their T-side game still is not refined. Virtus.Pro will kill you on T-side. So I think Virtus.Pro is going to win this series 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah, 2-0 for me as well. I think Cobble will be competitive, but I think the French heroics have run out at this point. Virtus.Pro all the way.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Again, first map is Train. Walking you through this matchup is going to be CEVO and Misled. Gentlemen, take it away.
Guys, so much. Hopefully you guys are ready for finals today. Good matchup coming right off the bat. Virtus.Pro versus Titan. We're going directly into Train here, and you have to think, I agree with him downstairs. Going on Train right off the bat, that's not going to bode well for Titan.
Oh yeah, I mean Titan's got their work cut out for them. Virtus.Pro is one of the best teams in the world on Train. They've got a lot of innovative strategies, a lot of heavy smoke usage. We'll talk about that later as we see it underway. Pistol round is already happening, and speaking about smokes, there's the first one popping in for Z Connector. Check out the screen working this one-way smoke and spanning through. Not going to find any kills because Virtus.Pro worked their way through upper and Bialy on outer yard, creating a little bit of distraction. He's not going to be able to find any kills, but he pulls one rotator out through Z Connector, and then they're all going to come out through Pop Dog.
It was a great strat to start with. I mean, they had smokes outside. They were wrapping this back inside. And they're ending up just getting caught out. Now, Pasha, last one left. He's going against 4 players from Titan, and Titan just locks that down. They pulled those smokes outside. They pulled everybody from the inside bomb site all the way up through Z Connector, and they started to go back down. Only 1 player was left. He pushed into the upper halls, ended up catching 2, and they had to back up, tried to go back down through the ladder, and it got completely blown up because everybody from Titan was still outside.
Yes, indeed. We've got round 2 coming up underway. Let's see how the buys are looking. Virtus.Pro buying up relatively aggressively after that, trying to keep the economy for Titan nice and low. You got a bunch of Eagles, 1 SG in hand. Positionally, They're setting up for something out A, but watch for Shocks. He's already pushed out, sneaking around the corner on the right. Pasha might check the angle. He's looking to his right. That's exactly what he needs to do. Missed the firefight. Shocks able to pick up the trade, and Bialy also down. We have a huge man advantage already in favor of Titan.
Yeah, Shock's going down to 34 HP to collect that. We have people working outside now. Snacks is going that direction. Neo inside. Him and Taz both split up pretty well. Taz back towards the halls. He's going to try and find something, actually working his way out. T-Con picks up the bomb, drops back, but Neo has a good grip of information inside. Already pushed through upper. We'll get a scout headshot on the Smith. He's going to turn it into a 2-on-4 now, as Taz is going to go try and rotate with the bomb. Loses his teammate Taz in a tough position. 1v4, only 14 HP, has the bomb on his back. RPK right below him. And he's going to climb right up the ladder. Scout shot goes down, but RPK will collect the frag. Titan's going to be up 2-0.
Yeah, I think that run was huge because of the way Shocks just opened up, pushing out aggressively and remaining undetected. He won that first firefight. Looked like Pasha was watching the corner very closely. He was ready for it. Gets taken out. The real tragedy of that is that Bialy also got taken down. So you start the round immediately 5-3, and just like that, Titan takes nice early on momentum. Virtus.Pro economically wrecked so far. That's fine. We'll have a good gun round going into round number 4. Virtus.Pro focusing on A.
Yeah, they would have been able to get a bomb plant in that first round. I think they had the best shot there after they assumed everyone was going to rotate back. Oh, yeah, he's going to push up on Snacks. Snacks does have the bomb. Out on an island right now. You can see RPK already coming up the ramp below him. They're going to get the flank off. Not that it matters. Just a touchdown grenade comes through from Shocks. He was going to try and go back in that direction, see if he can find anything, as the rest of his teammates are kind of getting mopped up now. I mean, only Bialy and Pasha are left. Bomb down in the halls, and Pasha and Bialy in a tough spot here. Smith and Scream are onto him. RPK is going to be watching from behind, and Shock's going to go on the big flank here. They should both get caught relatively easy, and they do. Smith and Screams will get them. That'll be 3 rounds for Titan, but Virtus.Pro will go on to the bye in this next one.
Shocks is such a good player. I mean, he's one of these guys who floats around all different sites, all different sort of locations, and he seems to be at the right place at the right time. That time around, he pushes all the way up towards B and effectively cancels Virtus.Pro's strat. They're going to do some sort of a heavy A hit with the bomb single-handedly lurking outside of B. That way they have some options, and then by finding the bomb that early, the round is canceled. We have our first gun round underway. Virtus.Pro, AK-47s in hand and rolling through upper.
Yeah, all of them going through White Hall is getting aggressive. Only RPK to contend with if they decide to push into the site. Pasha's going to be watching the ladder. He's going to start moving his way forward now, too. And let's see where they're going to work with this. They slowed down quite a bit. That'll pull Scream in from outside. And Shock's already super aggressive out there. And he's got a lot of information pushed up in mid. Here comes the smokes and flash. He's going to try and work their way down the ramp to the site. RPK doing what he can to prevent. He's going to push right through the smoke. Doesn't even get a single one out of it with the FAMAS. And gun round starts off well for Virtus.Pro.
But look at Existence right there, working his way around the smoke just as VP, Bialy backs off into the corner. Neo's going to be extremely low on health, gets the spray down, takes one, and now look at Smith with this tappy style, gets a long range, flips over to the right, and wipes Pasha out. We're suddenly in a 1v1 with Smith. Beautiful, drops the smoke. He's going to go ahead and probably stick the defuse. 10 seconds remaining, tries to stick it, gets sprayed down by Taz. Huge play, first round on the board for Virtus.Pro.
Virtus.Pro had the advantage inside the B bomb site. They end up getting all 3 members alive from Titan to rotate in. One was right at the front of the bomb train, one was run behind it, and one was all the way in the back lanes. And Pasha ended up working his way back through Z from the position he was above ladder, takes outside, comes through, and he should have had Smith dead to the right there. Smith turns around, catches him from the side anyways, forces it into a one-on-one, and Taz just got the good spray down through the smoke to not let Titan defuse that. Otherwise, that could have been a horrendous round for Virtus.Pro.
Well, that's always important to win the first gun round. We've got decent economy for Titan. They've got a full buyout with 2 AWPs, one in the hands of Shocks, one in the hands of Smiths. And they're set up for, looks like a B hit for Virtus.Pro. They stream through lower. Smith's going to come up huge. No, not meant to happen at upper. Pushed up way too close with the op, and he gets overrun. Bombs going down at the B bomb site. Pasha getting into position with rotators through Z connector upper and back CT.
Oh, he actually slips his way right past back lanes. He's down in the CT spawn right now. He could have a huge flank on Shocks, but Shocks was aware of it. Ends up catching him with the op from behind. So now it's all up to Taz. 1v3, Scream, Existence, and we're going to have Shocks right there. He takes Shocks down. Screams in his face. Can he get another one? Can't do it. Scream ran right up that ladder, got all the way in his face, and that will be a 4th round now for Titan when they get the defuse, and they prevent Virtus.Pro from getting 2 in a row.
Yeah, way to effectively cancel the economies for Virtus.Pro at that point. Titan just not letting go of any of that early on momentum. They got your pistol round, and then they immediately cancel that first gun round win in favor of Virtus.Pro. This is not the type of start that we are accustomed to seeing with Virtus.Pro. They're so incredibly strong on train, especially with their T-side executes. But if they can't get their economy underway, then the Virtus.Plow effect is never going to happen, and that's a big part of Titan's goal.
Yeah, so because Virtus.Pro couldn't get 2 in a row there, they're going to have to go into a pistol buy. Let's see what they do. A little bit more spread out. Neo actually goes back. Did he end up buying anything when he ran back? No, he did not buy anything, but he ran all the way back into the buy zone. That was a little interesting. Maybe he wanted to grab a flashbang or something, but didn't make it happen. So they're spread out now, and look at the aggressiveness that's coming out from Titan. They got Existence and Scream right there at the ladder. RPK down the site. Smith pushed up aggressively. Shock's just watching Ivy, and it's working out. Smith will be able to get himself on the board with 2 frags this round, as Taz gonna be hanging out in the white halls. Bialy's working back down through T-Con. And he's gonna have some trouble with Scream right there in his face, and Scream's got the rifle advantage, and Shox ends up stealing it away from Ivy. So Taz, 1 versus 5 now, all by his lonesome.
Yeah, it's almost unwinnable at this point. Taz, I mean, what can you do at this point? You're completely isolated. Titan knows exactly where you are. Peeks the corner, he's just not able to go ahead and land that shot. That's fantastic. We now have another round win, and the economy for, oh, look at Pasha. Not happy with the results so far.
No, and the aggressiveness that we got to see there from Titan, they knew more than likely that was going to be an eco. They shouldn't have the economy to make anything happen, so upgraded pistols, and they got aggressive inside the B halls, and they just completely stopped Virtus.Pro from being able to make their way through white halls down into the bomb site. They wanted to get a fast plant, and they just got shut down there in the halls, and then eventually pushed on. And again, Smith, super aggressive out through Ivy. He's going to be able to wrap his way all the way back around, and more than likely get behind Bialy, Snacks, and Neo. Pasha's over there. And Existence hiding in the smoke in the middle of the bomb site. Smith, he better catch up. It doesn't matter. Existence and Shox are getting frags of their own. And finally they get Existence. But here comes the flank from Smith. He's going to work his way right out. See if he's able to find Neo. Doesn't catch him yet. Looking towards the bomb train. Able to find one. And look at the mop up coming from Titan. They're going to be able to get on that bomb, get the defuse. That'll make this 6-1 for Titan.
Yeah, that's so disappointing for Virtus.Pro. I mean, they came out on a buy round with proper smokes, mollies, and they did one of their typical executes where they smoke everything off diagonally, get in a position, and then use all those different angles on train once you break into the site. But Titan's hip to this. They've played Virtus.Pro multiple times in the past. They've studied the demos, and they were able to counter effectively.
Going to work our way into round 8 now. Titan with a large advantage, and Virtus.Pro looking like they want to force here, so it's going to be pistol. And some utility will be coming out. I mean, Neo's with a smoke, same with Pasha, but he does have a flashbang. Pasha, that is. They're going to go with some pistol play again. This time sending 1 towards Ivy. The other 3 going to be working towards inside, up in the halls. Now 4, and Smith, again, the aggressive play coming out from Titan.
That's
is paying
3 rounds
off.
now.
Yeah, I mean, you have Shox over in that direction. Smith is pushing his way out through Ivy. They're getting a ton of information. I mean, Smith got all the way back around last time. Did it a little slow, but it ended up working out, as we're going to have Virtus.Pro, the 4 alive, trying to work their way into B. Neo, first one down, not having too much luck, thanks to RPK picking up 2.
Yeah, RPK tried to line him up and just not able to land the full spray down. It don't matter, though. Taz, the last man standing, missing a couple of deal shots. He's going to get pushed around the edge, and there's Smith celebratory spray down just to rub it in. This is amazing. Look at the scoreline right now. It's 7-1 at this point. Titan CT side. Okay, fine. Train is a CT-sided map, but you are facing off against Virtus.Pro, one of the strongest teams on this map. They have an incredible T side. This is not what you expect going into this. Keep in mind, Titan are your underdogs rolling through. In fact, the predictions from the analyst depth were all about Virtus.Pro easy. Going to stomp tonight, and there you go.
I mean, we got Shox and Smith, both players. Well, Shox with 13 frags right now, and then Smith with 11. They are absolutely holding it down for their team. RPK, the next closest one, was 6. And that's tied for the top fraggers right now for Virtus.Pro, and that's only Taz.
Yeah, look at Smith. Getting aggressive again, working around the edge of the smoke, gets 1. Pasha's able to go ahead and take Existence down, so the man advantage favors Virtus.Pro, and now Pasha continuing forward. He's back to form. Smith goes down. It is 2 versus 4. Scream all alone in the sight. Goes for the spray down instead of the tappy, and Pasha's going to take the headshot champion's head right off, leaving RPK all alone.
Yeah, he's going to try and work his way up through the halls now. and go towards the ladder. The only problem is Neo is going to be right there in that direction. Let's see if Neo goes on the repeat. He's ready for it. Here's him. Now RPK in trouble. Lines up the first shot. Got one more to try and beat. That's going to be Snacks, but he is 1v3. Pasha is going to be coming from inside to catch him. They do not want RPK to live with this gun. Let's see what Pasha ends up doing here. Does he look up in time? Because RPK is going to work his way all the way out. He should be able to get an angle. And Pasha now looking in that direction. They do not want him to keep this off at all. Pasha going right up below him. Tazwi working up through the ladder. Snacks is also coming from Whitehalls. So they're going to try and pinch here. And Pasha knows. He just wants to get the shot off. He gets around the corner. Has to spray a little too much. But he does collect it. That is Virtus.Pro finally getting a second round in their favor. That was very close at the end there.
I think a big thing is Pasha starting to kind of wake up and come back to life. Yesterday we saw Pasha doing absolutely amazing things, and the day before you and I were casting the game where Pasha gets 3 knife kills single-handedly. I think 2 of them ended up being on train. Super sneaky, super clutch plays, and once he gets warmed up, there's no stopping this guy.
So let's see if we have that aggression again at Ivy. No, it doesn't look like it. Smiths this time not going to go out through Ivy. Shocks is just going to play it pretty deep. And RPK, again, Lone Ranger inside that B bomb site. And we haven't really seen Virtus.Pro try to exploit that too much. And here it is again, Scream, Existence, both pushing up on ladder thanks to those smokes. They're going to get in the face of anybody trying to work their way out. But Neo would be the only guy that would. And he's pretty much well committed to trying to watch anybody flanking from the inside bomb site.
Yeah, at this point, Titans are running out of utility. They've thrown almost all their smokes. All they're left with is 1 smoke and 1 molly. So 1 minute on the clock. Virtus.Pro's in a really good position to make any execute they want. You see they've got 2 set up at Ivy, and they're setting up for a 3-way approach into A site. Snacks looking for the pick, looking for Titan to make any sort of mistake. Oh, nothing.
Let's see what we're going to have here with Pasha and Bialy. Possibly going to try and smoke that right side. Do they even have smokes at the moment? They have smokes, so they can make that right side smoke, try and take down Shocks, wrap their way through CT. And actually, no. Neo and Taz are both going towards outside, so they're not going to wrap through CT to the inside bomb side, but they're picking up the frags that they need. Existence is still going to be out there. He ends up going down at Hell, so Scream and RPK, last 2 left. RPK, this lone man, works his way out through Z. He gets cleaned up, and Virtus.Pro, first time this game, gets 2 rounds in a row. That'll help build that economy, and they need to get the plow going now, and not let Titan run away with these rounds early.
Yeah, very simple play by Virtus.Pro right there. Just sit outside, bait out all the utility, all the smokes from Titan, and then simply walk inside, trading in. And they didn't even have to trade too much. They had a huge man advantage walking in thanks to those 2 initial picks. 7-3 is your score line, and the economy for Virtus.Pro still looking solid, obviously. And Titan buying up, trying to keep it low. You see a FAMAS, 1 CZ 75. Lots of utility though to hold them off.
Yeah, and again, we're going back to this default for Virtus.Pro. It's going to be Snacks out in mid, Pasha Bialy trying to work Ivy. Taz and Neo were near inside. Taz actually backs his way up towards the ladder to make sure no one's going to be able to come up from there because they don't really have good sight on it with Snacks not actually out. And he's smoked off now, and Existence trying to get in his face. And it looks like Titan's onto this. It's just going to be whether or not Pasha and Bialy can make something happen again at Ivy to pull some people out into the middle of that bomb site to try and contest.
You see Shocks. He's got the molly in hand. Toss the incendiary. Just trying to hold off the push.
Oh, he's got to be careful.
Yeah, he's playing the super close angle, trying to play just at the edge of the smoke. Here comes Pasha. Is he going to check it? He does. And Shocks goes down. That's a nice opening pick for Pasha. Existence on top of the train. Spots him coming out by Pop Dog. Gets 1, gets shredded out quickly. And now 2 out main, and you have to worry about the players that I've streamed in a terrible position. Gets the spray down on